I've been answering questions for international students and people moving to Canada, and I've gotten a question about taxes. Someone says, Nader, what's taxes like in Canada? Is Canada a socialist country? And I laughed at that. We're not a socialist country. I mean, if you're looking like left-leaning on the spectrum, yeah, it's like minorly socialist. If you're looking at, if we have like a, I guess like an NDP government in power, then yeah, we'd be like slightly socialist. But are we like hardcore socialist? No, like it's just not socialism. Capitalism is alive, and you're not going to, there's this weird myth that you should make a lot of money because the government makes more. That doesn't make any sense. No matter how much money you make, if you make more money, you're gonna save more as long as you don't spend like an idiot. See, the thing that happens is when you start making a lot of money, you have this idea that you can spend more, but then when you get taxed at like a 20% rate, divided between provincial and federal taxes, you're like, holy crap, I spent all my money, like especially for self-employed people, and your tax bracket is higher. You're like, oh no, and then it feels like you don't save as much. But in reality, if you were to save that money, you wouldn't be having that issue. So in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly, as an international student, how to save your money and how to hedge your money against inflation and taxes. And now I'm not somebody who knows everything about math, but I'm somebody who's had a couple of run-ins with, I've never made a mistake on my taxes because I've always hired an accountant. But like, I had no idea how much I had to save for them. Because I didn't even know taxes were a thing until I became an adult. Like, I knew they existed, but I never understood the concept of income tax. It was crazy to me, but like actually understanding why it's important. We have free healthcare here, so come on. Like, I'm happy to pay taxes if it's going towards a good cause. And I always I never believe in a limited mindset. I believe in abundance, and I'm happy that some of my money is being put forward looking after other people. That makes me happy. It means that I have to make more because I have to provide more. Now, I don't have a kid or something, so I understand why some people are disgruntled. I get it. Like, I don't think they're crazy and conservative. I understand it. I totally get it. But this video is gonna, again, for international students. So when you're coming here, understand that if you make under the tax bracket, let's start with the first thing. You're going to need to report your income taxes. And you're gonna need to, especially if you're living in Canada all year, you're gonna most likely need to report your income taxes. Don't skip them. And this is your worldwide income. It's not just Canadian income. All the money that you're making going into your bank account needs to be reported. If your friend gives you $300 in your hand for, I don't know, helping them fix a shed, you don't need to really report that for the most part if it's a gift. But if you're actually employed somewhere, or if you're working by yourself, you're freelancing and you're making money, you have to. Here's a tip. You're going to school, chances are you saved up a little bit, especially because if you're coming to Canada, you expect to go to school for 4 years, it's gonna cost you more than 60 grand at least. So my guess is that you've saved a little bit. So don't overspend, that's the first thing. The second thing to do is to invest all of the money coming in. If you're getting paid dividends from something, whether you have stocks or whether your family's sending you money or whether you're making money on a business. I have an online teaching business which pays me monthly. So every time you do that, save 15 to 20%, extremely high rate, I understand. Not everyone can do it, but try to save 15 to 20% because your money will add up really quickly, and put it away in a savings. So come tax season, if you have to pay something, you have the money saved. Now, if you're working a job, chances are you'll have an accounting division, and your accountant at your workplace will actually deduct taxes for you, so you don't have to. You get a return, you get a T4 in the mail. So what I recommend doing, if you're an international student, make 10 grand, save it all. I don't think you have to, as far as I know, I don't think you even have to contribute to CPP for that tax bracket, but I don't know for a fact. Every time I go into an accountant, they do it for me. So I'm not being an accountant here for you, but I'm telling you, if you make under the tax bracket, you're not going to be paying federal and provincial taxes. You may be paying CPP into the Canadian pension plan. All this stuff depends. It again depends on whether you're a citizen, whether you're just here for the a little bit of the year, but chances are you're gonna have to report everything. It's gonna give you a bit of a history. Again, if you make 10 grand and less, you're probably not gonna have to pay into federal and provincial taxes, and your expenses. If you use phone bills, if you use, you're opening a business as an immigrant in Canada, understand that you're not gonna have to pay as much in taxes if your car is used for your business, or your phone bill is used for a business, or you went out to a business meal. Now, I think you can write off half of business meals. I'm not 100% sure. These are things you need to look up. But another piece of advice I'm gonna give you for your taxes. For students, yeah, you can go into an H&R Block and spend $40. If you are a sole proprietor, or you have, sole proprietor, I'm not gonna say incorporated because that's totally a different process, but if you're a sole proprietor, you have your own small business in Canada, it's either in your name, but you've registered it, and you want to report personal income, they're going to charge you anywhere from, like, if you get a really nice tax guy and it's a family friend, he might charge you anything. But if you go into like an H&R Block and you say, hey, like, do my taxes, I make personal income, even if you only made $1,000 that year, they're gonna charge you like $200 or $300 to file your freaking taxes. So don't go into an H&R Block and try to file your taxes that way. If you're a sole proprietor, learn how to do it yourself. So here's my advice, let's recap, because I've been talking for a bit. Hedge your money against inflation and against any liabilities. So what I want you to do is save a lot, throw it in that account. Savings accounts, never invest in like a mutual fund or a GIC that's managed by somebody else, unless you can ask them what makes them the top 9% of people who get returns back every single year. Mostly every single year, no one does. So chances are I never trust those people with my money. I invest mostly in autopilot, and I look for ways that are very low volatility to invest my money, and I save 15 to 20% a month. I haven't always done that. I traveled the world for a little bit, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't travel the world and go to school and do that at the same time. So I unlocked my savings and spent a lot of it. But like, I was lucky enough to be able to do that. You coming to live here in Canada, it's not gonna be as easy to do that. You gotta start like that long-term thinking. You have to understand, all right, I'm saving a lot. Understand if you're making under a certain bracket, you're fine. But the biggest thing I need to tell you is understand that the more you're making, the more you're gonna pay. You will still have more money in the end, but only if you save it. If you force yourself to save 15 to 20% and never touch it, you will always be able to hedge against that. I would save maybe from that 10 to 15%, or that 15 to 20. Try to save 5 to 10% depending on what percent of your savings that you're putting away. Try to save 5 or 10% of that and invest it as a nest egg for later on. So you can have like a short-term savings, like if you open a tax-free savings account, and if you open, let's say, your a regular momentum savings account or something, what you can do is you can put 10% of it. I mean, you're going to be messing with your interest rates a little bit here, but like it's sometimes better to divide it. Like if you can like put $100 into your tax-free every month and put like $1,000 into your saving, or less or more, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to, let's say, dig into your tax-free if you're having like a really big issue, or your savings account if you're having a big issue, you need to pay a dental bill, and you can save your tax-free. I think you get a $5,000 contribution every year. You can save that for retirement. So it really depends. I don't like, investing in just regular banking systems. I really like to play with interest rates, but I don't like any managing fees. Managing fees, bad. Always check the fine print. They try to get you like that if you're an immigrant. Check the fine print all the time. These management fees can add up to over like $250,000 to $500,000 to millions of dollars a year if you actually let these idiots play with your finances. So I don't know everything about the financial system, but I go through it and I look at the fees and then I add them up, and I use the power of compound interest. Now I'm still young, I've made my mistakes, but that's what I recommend you do. Save as much money. I'm not saying hoard it all, I'm saying save it all and save it aggressively and at a high compounding interest rate with low managing fees. Do your taxes yourself, and if you're a sole proprietor, understand you're going to need to do a lot of savings, because at the end of the year you're going to have to pay that. So when you're making a lot of money, don't do what I did in the first years of my business and go, wow, lots of fun, party, and then just blow most of it. because then tax season comes as well, and then bam, it's gonna take a chunk of it, and your bills are gonna take some of it. So really think about that. But those are my tips for you. It's like a 10-minute video, so I really hope this helped you. It is very sunny. Welcome to Lakefield. Thanks for watching.